You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting nerds, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to Jeff, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and memes, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting nerds, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Yo,
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 5, season 2 of the PlayStation Collectors podcast. And tonight we've got Lee and AJ back on the show. Welcome
hey,
back,
what is up, guys? What's going on?
How's it going?
Joe. How are you, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. Living the dream. It's a reasonable time. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good too, man. Awesome. I'm also living the dream. Absolutely living the dream at the moment. Love my life.
Cool. Yeah, you had some good eBay sales recently.
Yeah, eBay's been a lot healthier than it was, say, like May, June. And yeah, been having some fun with, pumping out like 3 or 4 hours of GeoGuessr every day on the grind. I feel like my geography skills are getting up there. Just
That's
enjoying
cool.
that. AJ, what about you, man? It's been a while since we've seen you on the show. How have you been?
Sorry. I've been doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. I've been trying to re-get a lot of my consoles I sold off during the pandemic. I thought, this stuff's not going to go up, and sorry, it's not going to go back down. Sorry, my apologies. I figured it was not going to go down. Sorry, yeah, I figured it would go down. So I was very wrong about that. That's what I've been focusing mainly on collecting. But aside from that, I've been good. There's not been much changes going on. So just not had much time to play recently. That's about it. So
Cool.
And he says your mic sounds awesome, AJ. You definitely got a new upgrade there.
yeah.
And the beard's coming back again.
Thank you.
It's cool. What consoles have you been going after?
Yeah.
Oh. Can you hear me, AJ?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up?
I said, what consoles have you been going after?
A little bit of everything, but recently I added actually, I'll show you those in pickups, but I've been mostly going after Sega and Nintendo stuff because I never sold my PS stuff. That's something I never got rid of that.
That's what we like to hear.
Nice.
You can get rid of that other stuff, but not the stuff that's close to the heart.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. The PlayStation scene is where I really blossomed into an actual, gamer and a collector. And it was all
That's
thanks
awesome.
to the PS3.
Feel that.
I like that word, blossomed. Like, I always thought there was kind of this, I don't know, like allure of a mature gamer. Like, what does it actually mean to be a mature gamer? Are we even mature? Like, all those things that are associated with gaming, but your journey in collecting, maybe it's like a little different for everyone, the reasons you get into it and where you want to go with it. I guess for me, there is kind of an end game, but we talked like last time I was on about just enjoying the journey and the process. I'm like kind of how those experiences shape you. You meet people, you learn from them, like you make connections. All that is, well, it's fun, but it's also a grind. Like, I don't even know how I want to put this to words, but just myself, like I've really I've had to have some conviction and like revisit like why I got into collecting,
Yeah.
and if I'm gonna like last and not burn out, like how I have to approach it.
Mhm.
And like I was talking off air with some others today, just how they got priced out of collecting because they kind of got into it early and they thought they had time, and then one day they woke up like with life responsibilities and kids and other costs, and now all of a sudden the things they needed are out of reach. So I'm lucky I'm sitting on a few things that I didn't want to sell when prices were high. I'm like, I'll keep it so I can make a trade because eventually there'll be things I can't afford.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at now. Like things are slow, but I'm working on the trade relationships. And like now that I'm a little less guarded, I'm talking to people that I know have been longtime collectors that are actually kind of more like me than I realize. Like they're sitting on things too. And a lot of people don't make public posts to show off what they have.
Mhm.
There's a lot more of that going on in the circles that I'm in now because people are like, reaching the end game and they're reaching their goals. They're like, let's show off everything that I have.
Yeah.
And sometimes that sparks conversation. Sometimes it spikes prices. Sometimes like people get pissed off. So it's kind of like that's where I'm at right now, just managing those emotions. And it's like I don't want to give advice if it's not wanted.
Yeah.
Like I know some of these people, so it's like let's talk about these things. We don't have to make everything public, but
Mhm. Yeah. That's
I mean,
very interesting. Sorry. Go ahead. Apologies.
I was gonna say, another good point that you brought up, Lee, is at the moment, and we haven't really talked about this on the podcast, but around the world, the cost of living is going up everywhere, and that's going to cut into everyone's game buying budget. And me and AJ were talking before you guys come on that we've both been buying less these days than we have in the past, and bills are more expensive and things like that. But like at the end of the day, and we've talked about this before, your game collection's there, but if you've got bills that are coming up, then you've got thousands of games on the shelf, and you pay those bills, you sell your games. There's a lot of these games sitting behind me are common titles that I can go and find again, Mario games and your Uncharted's and different things like that aren't rare. There's that 1% of the collection you're never gonna get rid of, but it's important to not fully get attached to things that you can't let go because these are all replaceable items at the end of the day. Your lives are more important than that.
You're speaking as someone who's been in that position before, so you have a bank of things you'll go to sell first, and then the things that like let's not touch that because I won't be able to replace it.
So I always keep like specifically stuff that is for selling and trading always. You know what I mean? Like there's always stuff in my collection that I picked up, not necessarily because I wanted it, but it was a good deal, or I know it's like desirable, or I know somebody's going to want it down the line.
Yep.
So like I always recommend having stuff like that. So if you do have to sell stuff, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is definitely, you don't even, no question, you don't feel bad.
Yeah.
You don't have to like choose between your favorite childhood game and like your
that's-
brother's favorite childhood game or
Yeah,
something.
well,
It's just this
That's
is the
actually
stat.
like that's one
Yeah.
advantage of grinding and hunting things a little bit early.
Doubles
Like,
and stuff. Yeah.
it for sure takes time and energy, and you're like, well, you remember how hard it was for you to get the first time, so
Mhm.
you see it for a little bit better price. Maybe it'll be coming down the pipeline where people will be looking for it, and you
Mhm.
kind of have an idea of what'll be sought after. So
I've-
I do
I've-
that. Well, what I do see a lot of people do online that I don't know that it's a good strategy is like when they fall on hard times, like they let it be known that like they're selling because something happened, and what they're looking for is empathy, or for people to be reasonable. But if people know it's hard times, then they throw you low offers, right?
Mhm.
And they know you're more likely to jump on them, and it's a little bit insulting, but it's a little bit hurtful. It's like you're seeing people do that opportunistically, taking advantage of people like that when they're selling their babies. I don't know.
And you are right. I see those posts all the time, and it'll be, especially for older collections, it'll be like, I seen one this week actually, and it was a complete N64 North American completed
Saw
box.
That's insane.
All it was missing was
Sculptor's Cut, right?
He was
That's the
willing
one.
to like negotiate on the price of that, and he wanted 55 grand for the whole
Yep.
collection. It was like that hurts seeing that he spent the last 10, 15 years of his
Complete
life.
in box. I don't know the last time I ever saw a complete, minus the sculptor's cut, which he was going to do a $5,000 add-in.
Yeah, like he
Right,
had
so that-
one lined
to
up
save
with
the person the hassle of trying to track it down. Yeah, that's and that was another question I think you guys discussed, or somebody brought it up on one of your channels, Figsy, was if you had a chance to buy out someone's collection. I think what they meant by that was like get a good chunk of someone's collection for a decent price. Like, would you do that if you had the money, or does that kill the joy of collecting a little bit because you're kind of taking somebody else's sweat and blood, like blood money?
For me, it depends on what it is. If it's
But your
stuff,
time is
sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
no, your time's worth something though. So
Yeah,
go
that
ahead.
is true. If it's stuff I really like if it's a bunch of cool JRPGs or really cool oddities, maybe. But I would say 75% of the fun is the hunt. Even if you had to pay retail for stuff, finding it, for me at least, is a large part of the fun of spending months or years in some cases tracking down a certain title and finally putting it on that shelf.
Yeah, or finding that $100 game at a garage sale for $1.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
replace that feeling by, it's great to get games at 60% of retail price, or 70% or 50%, but you can't replace the feeling of you'll never believe what I found today.
Yeah.
I was just looking through these DVDs and that game that I've been dreaming about was there, and you can't ever replace that. I just want to touch on one comment that I read from the collectionist. He says, that's what happened to me with NES collecting. I started in 2009. Suddenly games like Power Blade 2 were $100 that I passed on, and now they're $500 plus.
Yeah.
And I think that brings up an interesting point of like when you start collecting and you start saying, all right, I want these games, and you look up the price of them, you get that in your head and you're like, all right, that's what these are worth. And if you're collecting for 10, 15 years and suddenly these games are $500 more, $1,000 more, you're not going to spend those prices. If you're out there buying them, buying them when they're $100, why in 10 years later you're not going to want this game even more because it's more expensive, right?
Well, you also have this idea of how common it is based on how many are in circulation when you look online, and that's not always the reality too. Like you think, I'll just have a quick look. Maybe that'll paint a picture of why these prices are so expensive, like has demand gone up. But maybe there just isn't much left anymore because all the collectors have them, right?
That's another.
People are watching it go up and up and up, and they're getting bought up, and then all of a sudden there's only a few.
If it's a game that sells like once a year, but then there's plenty of games that Little Samson, for example, it's not a rare game. You can see Little Samson sell on eBay all the time, but it sells tens of thousands of dollars.
I noticed when Nintendo, sorry to interrupt you, there's like games that consistently sell for a lot that aren't the rarest games, but to find them with the box and manual is another story.
Oh yeah.
So like I feel like there's two types of collectors, or there's two measures for what a game is worth, because you might see 100 Little Samsons, you might see 5 of them with the box and manual. So
that's true.
I don't know why certain games are like that, right?
But like there are PlayStation games like that. Like Godzilla on PS4 is a great example. Like it's not a rare game. If you look up Godzilla on PS4, there could be 50 to 100 sold listings in the last 3 months, but all of them are going to be $200 to $400 because it's just one of those games that are expensive,
Yeah, anything in the cardboard collecting world, the boxes are just insane. Whether it's Nintendo or Game Boy Advanced or any of that stuff, it's just it gets to be insane.
If I may say something real quick, I've noticed that in regards to rarity, that's not what really it will drive up a price sometimes, but a big part of it is the demand. If people say, a big part of it is really demand. If a game is uncommon, but everyone's looking for it, it's going to be a lot harder to actually track down than something that might be rare, but no one knows about.
And I think that also comes down to timing too. Like, right now, I just read a comment on my Discord this morning that someone was buying one of the Barbie games from CEX, and they sent him out a notification saying it was out of stock, and now he can't buy it again. And he looked on eBay, and the price has gone up.
Really?
Barbie right now, the movie just came out, so it's probably not a good
Oh.
time to be trying to buy Barbie games. So it's all about timing. Like, you don't go for the system that's really popular when everyone wants them when the new movies come out. You go for, right now, the 360 and the Wii, and even like the Xbox One are great systems because no one cares about them. You give it 10 years, people might be buying 360 games. Like the PS3 is quite expensive right now. You know?
Mhm. I think everything will be expensive down the line, man.
Yeah, I got that 3D collection. I made a big trade with I was commenting on the post that popped up. I made a big trade with a Brazilian collector, Lewis, who you guys know, and I sent him like some of those digitalis that I had sealed back before everybody wanted them, and he didn't really have anything like valuable to give me, but he was like, "Well, I can give you some exclusives sealed," and so I was kind of like, "Okay, I'll take some, so I have some for other collectors." And I put it on people's radar, and it's almost like I have to sell them on it. I'm like, well, it's an NTSC game. It's in English. It's part of the region. It's got games that have been delisted from the store on it. It's got the 2 demos and the 2 full games. And I'm like, you want a box copy of this game? You can't get it anywhere else. So you would think people would be all over that, but it's just not. It's not a big seller for some reason. I don't know.
Well,
I
might
gotta
be-
understand it, Lee, because the argument would be, but it wasn't released in America. Is it part of the set? Like that?
Hmm.
That's the arguments that they give you, right?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Just because you can't get it easily. I don't know.
yeah, well, that's the thing. I think a lot of with the price of a lot of games and stuff. A lot of it is just hype, man, and word of
Yeah.
mouth, and like you said, people just don't know about it, or they don't care about it, or they're not told to. I mean, there are like how many videos where people show off their little Samson. You know what I mean? Like that stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. It's just known, and the more common it is that it's known that this is a valuable game. It's
Yeah.
just the more it becomes desirable because there's a whole lot of collectors out there. Let's face it, they're not collecting games because they want these games or to play these games. They
Right.
want rare, valuable games.
Yeah, the reasons for
That's what they
collecting
want.
are
That's
different.
what they're trying to get. It's
Well, some
not-
people want to know that they
it's a
can
different
flip it before
motivation.
they'll buy it.
yeah, or
People
yeah,
want to know, yeah.
or there's people specifically just in it for the investing side of things. So there's
Well, they
probably
buy
lots of
it,
people who
right.
don't play games at all who track of what's worth what and they flip it and just like anything else. So yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to add Lewis is a stand-up guy. So when we made that trade, like he knew it wasn't really common knowledge at the time for the games. He was like, I don't want to see these on eBay. Like they have to go to other collectors and you need to trade them. So
that's cool.
I've been sitting on them until people want them. And I'll trade them off, but I'm not putting them on eBay. I'm not asking high prices for them. But
That's actually really interesting that that's the case because the Asian and the Australian ones, they don't come up for sale because they're that desired that regardless of what price they are, they're selling on eBay in less than 24 hours. The last Australian copy sold for like $1,000 in less than 24 hours, and that was a couple of years ago now. It's crazy. And I haven't seen a Malaysian one for at least 12 months on eBay.
Yeah, and think of where we are in the life cycle of when PS3 came out compared to Nintendo. Now imagine, it's another 15 years down the line when PS3 collecting is really hot because now you have those kids who grew up playing that system, spending all their money on it. Like, it's coming, but like that, once that nostalgia hits, and that's what really drives the collecting in the game market, I think, is when those generations go back and they want that stuff. And then now you have these 10 years of eBay sales established when people start looking it up, and then now that stuff becomes really popular because like I don't know, it just hits its like peak like collectability at that point, I think. And then eventually
I agree. Like for
Atari.
us, it would have been PS1, PS2, and a little bit before.
For
that,
me,
right?
it was PS1, Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
Genesis.
Sometimes I
Those-
feel like
those were
I'm-
the target ones for me.
I'm not just gathering physical media, I'm gathering history. When I'm looking at sales, like I'm trying to paint a picture for myself so I know what to look for and I know what the trends are. And some of the things, like when you get deep into the libraries, and like we talked last show about how sometimes you spot something that looks different when I was on. But I think what I'm trying to say is like I'll notice something sold. Like I might see a picture of it on a forum or on a Reddit, And it's like I'm checking, like I have my sort of generic searches, but I have my specific save searches too. And I look for certain types of things, and sometimes it depends how it's listed, right? Whether you'll find it or not. And then other times you just have to check like at certain hours of the day, and maybe you'll get lucky.
That's how you get the best deals, though. Someone
Right?
who
And
puts something weird, a little like wrong or off or something, but you can see the
Yeah.
picture and you're like, I know what that is.
Right?
I've gotten some great deals that way. People like put the wrong name of the game on their game, like it's the same franchise but the wrong one. And I've like gotten it for mad cheap because the one they put is $10 and the one I want is 50 or something. So like I've had that happen a few times.
And then the other way is refreshing it and getting the new listing the second it comes out.
Right.
The seller's like, "Oh, this sold in 5 seconds.
So
What happened there?"
So you're just adding to my comment about like ways to find cool things. But I'm also like, I'm talking about looking at the history of the game so that like either when you want a bounty for it to sell it or trade it, you can actually present a case for like, here's how often it shows up. Here's what it was selling for. And because people will call your bluff right away, right? They'll be like, nah, that's fake, or that's not worth what you think it's worth. And, everybody wants a deal, right? But then some things are just that rare that it's hard to justify unless you can prove it. And that's sort of like the direction I'm going now with like following these breadcrumbs to find like the collectors that made the post. It's almost like you're borderline stalking their internet history. Like it's a little bit weird, but it's like if it's public enough that I can reach out to people, then I will try to get information on how they got it, how they acquired it, and that way it leads to more questions and inquiries elsewhere, right? Some people are more forthcoming with information than others, and some people are like in the industry, right? So you meet people in the industry, and there are ways about it, but it's kind of difficult. And I've got a few things in my collection now that like I'm pretty proud to say I thought I'd never own. I made some pretty cool trades recently, and I traded some really expensive stuff that I had that I'm just like, it's a dupe for me. I don't care what it's going for. You have something I don't have. So
I mean, that is a really good point that you bring up, Lee, about that like 0.1% of items that are extremely rare that don't actually have sales history on the internet, but like inner circles will know what these things go for because it's so and so sold it to so and so or so and so sold, and all the collectors know these people.
It's the same one or two copies that that likely
Yeah.
people have touched or know about, right?
I could say it for the PS3 scene, but if you're talking PS1 games or SNES games, I have no idea about these sales. But like the 3D collection, I'm aware of, those $1,000 sales, and prior to that, there was a $400 sale and a $300 sale, and like this is it. There's no more sales histories of this game, but people like finding them in the wild. But to someone across the world, they have no idea. If someone random found this and went to list it on eBay, they wouldn't know what to list it for because there's no history of it. So they're just going to put it up for a low price or make up their own price,
Or a ridiculous price. They're like, there's not any on here. That's it.
You always get in those situations. You always get those. Well, it's worth what someone's willing to pay for.
Yeah, exactly.
Arguments, right?
I will say this: it's not video game related, but I like to buy very hard to find records sometimes. In some cases, there are only one or two known to exist, or 100. And there's so many times I see on eBay, oh, this record's $200, no confirmed sales, $300, and that's just the kind of thing you'll see often. People don't know what it's worth.
The other thing that's happening in the circles that I roll in, the people that are hunting the kinds of things that I'm hunting, and they're looking for, variants and rare things. We're starting our own groups, just so that like everything's kosher with everybody before people make public posts or like put a bounties out, and you're sort of sharing information and trading within your circle. And then, you'll allude to something that you might be looking for. And then like, do I want to tell everyone? And sort of there's like this level of trust and camaraderie in those groups. And let's be honest, like it's kind of a niche market for these high-end things anyway. So it's like, it's better to keep it with the people that actually want to collect them than to have people that will scalp and extort.
Oh, for sure.
That information.
Yeah, 100%.
So, that way people don't get burned as hard.
And it comes down to I would I'd rather be willing to trade those higher end items for other higher end items rather than
Yep.
sell them. You know,
Yeah.
almost like rare items. Some of them are priceless, but you know, if I'm trading it for something else that I know that I can probably never get it again, then that's fair in my head.
Yeah.
Where, like a money figure, it might be, well, I'm only willing to sell it for, $500 or $1,000, but I'd trade it for that other thing that you've got
Right.
too old that I
Yep.
can't
Yeah,
get.
there's that, and there's also the idea that like your information, your energy, your time, like that's all privileged information. Like, so you want to give it to someone who's worthy, right? Like it kind of feels like that's a better feeling, you know.
Yeah, I think like you don't want to give it to someone who's just started collecting because they're not going to appreciate it. Whether it's someone with a full set who's been after this for 3 or 4 years is going to appreciate this item way more and
Mhm.
different things like that. There was a comment I wanted to touch on. It sort of links to the title of today's show. Inu asked, "Do you think it's even possible to collect every PlayStation game?" And that's where I wanted to ask you, Lee, how your journey is going because as far as believe you're going
Sometimes I do a
to
little projection. So like there's these mental exercises where you visualize yourself doing stuff. And like I kind of like, well, if I keep pace, but it's a hard thing to work out mathematically because you're like, well, a lot of the things I'm looking for are maybe not super high value because it's filler, but they're still pretty scarce. So it's taking longer to get those things than it did before. Right? Like it's turned
Oh, yeah.
into a marathon. Just because I didn't get things locally before they dried up. And I talked about it before. It's hard to buy individual things on eBay with the shipping, and
Mhm.
it's very slow process. So there are still a few flea markets within driving distance of Ottawa, and like I'm on pretty good terms with the store owners and that. But it's like the types of things they sell in their stores. They don't really want dupes if it's stuff that's on their shelf, and like the higher end stuff, I prefer to keep for trade. So it's hard for me to accumulate enough commons to like bring it in there to knock off a few things that I need. You know, that I'd be willing to take 50% or 60% store credit for.
That's
So
not like you can bring in 10 copies of the same game or anything.
yeah, they won't do that either. Like, I'll admit on air that I hoarded the Hunter for PS4.
Mhm.
Just in the last year or so, I guess it was up around $100, and for whatever reason, that game's fairly common in Canada. So it's starting to dry up now, but I was able to accumulate between like 5 and 10 copies. And I'm like, so each time I'll go to a different store, I'll bring one with me and see if they'll take it. Like, because I don't really have anything else that I'm willing to take the hit for, and it's not moving much. People aren't really buying it as much anymore. So, yeah,
I used to do that over here, retail arbitrage. I'd go into Big W when they'd have their clearances and buy every single copy of certain games on PS4, and then I'd go to EB Games and trade 2 copies in at one store, go to the next store and trade 2 copies in,
Yeah.
go to the next store and trade 2 copies in. And, I'm
Right.
just doing it by their rules, so you can't get in trouble if you're doing it by their rules.
yeah, you gotta play by the rules.
Yeah, did
Another
you get
thing
like
that's weird,
flagged and banned Figsy from the stores eventually or something?
Yeah, I am in EB Games, so.
I don't know if you have a similar like experience over there in Australia, but I have noticed that sometimes certain things, because there's eBay Canada and there's eBay.com, and the market tends to start in the US and then Canada is a little bit slow to catch up. But once in a while, there are games that are more common in the US or vice versa, more common in Canada. And it's like if I'm watching both eBays, I can actually see the trend and then I can react to it before it catches up to my region. Right. And then I can get the game, and like I might have a 2-week window or whatever where I can do a little flip, but
Mhm.
it's it's a bit anxiety provoking, but it does
You're
work.
right, though. There is that window because I'm over here, like CEX, try and keep their prices up with eBay, but they are like 1 or 2 months behind. So if a game suddenly spikes in price or drops in price at a retailer, for example, I can go in and buy it and then sell it to CEX before they'll actually catch on that the price has spiked. And
Yeah. Same with like GameStop when they update their inventory prices. Like there used to be like whole forums dedicated to like flipping and getting their trade values and stuff. And I don't know when they caught on to that, but it's gotten a lot harder.
I think these days it's not done by humans; it would be done by algorithms.
The bots are monitoring
You're
eBay
gonna
sales.
you're gonna go in. It's gonna be like a little ticker, like the stock exchange, and it's just gonna be going up and down, and be like, Well, how much is the game? It's this much at the moment.
I mean, look at
gonna
price charting website. You know, it gets Amazon and eBay sold prices and then accumulates it over time. So it's using numbers and stuff to get its prices. Asked previously, do you think it's possible to collect every PlayStation game? And then also, would that include all remakes? So, Lee, what's your goal at the moment?
Yeah, I didn't finish answering that question. Yeah, I went through a period where I burnt out and I got rid of all the redundant stuff. And then, like I said on the last show, I got my wife's blessing and I came into a bit of money after my son started school. So I was probably spending more than I should, but I ended up rebuying some of the stuff that I pieced out of my collection. Because at first I couldn't stomach having 3 copies. It just felt like a hoarder a little bit. But I guess I call it the point of no return. Like once you sort of pass that way, it's like you throw all sheets to the wind and I'm all in, right? So could I do it? How could I do it? I honestly don't know the answer. Like I think it's easier to focus on one system, but I'm trying to spread myself across everything because everything's gone up. So like it's like Figsy talked about, like he'll be hunting for a specific thing, but if he finds another thing while he's out hunting, like it's on his radar. Maybe it's not like high up on your number 1 priority list, but you'll grab it, right?
Yeah, it's
so
a good
I'm kind of like that now when I'm hunting, like, and I will try to pick up a couple of things that I can possibly flip or sell, but I'm not really into eBay taking a big cut of items. So I do have quite a few things now that I could sell on eBay, but I don't want to just keep managing the listings and have them sit there. I don't really know what's the best way to go about advancing the collection other than to trade a bunch of stuff in. I don't know, kind of desperate at this point.
Have you got a number on how many PlayStation games you've got in the collection now, Lee?
Well, I've got my collection on VG Collect. It's around 5,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm getting up there.
And then my next question would be, how many games would be in like a full PlayStation 1 to 5 or 1 to 4 collection?
Well, yeah, because the jury's still out on PS4 and PS5, but it's a lot, right? So you got that 1287. I say 87 because there's 3 greatest hits that have extra content. 1284 is a number a lot of people use.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Then the PS2, it varies, right? I have a couple of games that have extra content on disc that aren't really public knowledge that I'm not sharing. So I could throw out like a random number and people be like, that's not the number on my list. But I think it was 18.
Like Silent Hill 3, for example, greatest hits should be on the list,
1842 is the last time I looked at it a couple years ago for the base set for PS2. And that's just like that was sort of like with the what's unique on disc content, what that's known. But there's actually a lot of games that do have bug fixes and stuff like that people haven't tested. So like if you really want to go into like what's a unique game, what belongs on the list, then that number isn't accurate because the data miners haven't really got to PS2 as much yet. I don't know, maybe just because the library's so big or there's so much fodder that people don't want to bother checking. That's
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, I just wonder why there hasn't been like more research with the PS2 variants. Like it's kind of a small scene right now of me and a few other guys that I know that kind of care, but it's also the idea that it's so unattainable. Finn finished the PS2 library and then he publicly did the greatest hits on his group for PS2, but he asked the question, like, how many people have actually gone and got the PS2 greatest hits? And it was like crickets. And then someone chimed in and said, like, oh, lots of people probably did it back in the day. They just didn't share it with people. I'm like, I think probably not a lot of people would have did that. Like greatest hits used to be kind of considered ugly in the PS1 era. And then people started talking about, oh, if you want the game like Silent Hill 2 with the director's cut edition, I mean, that game is already expensive, but nobody cared when it was greatest hits. And now all of a sudden it's like that game is worth a little bit more than the Black Label copy. So there's other examples I could give on PS2, but I kind of went off topic there. So now PS3, I always forget the number, but it's just over 1,200.
I know a PAL's 1160. I don't know the North
So we got
American
1,200 plus 12, almost 1,300, 1,800 something. I don't know what you're at there. In the 4,000 to 5,000 already without PS4. PS4, my list has over 3,000 games on it.
It's going to end up being
Wow.
around 4, probably. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. Like,
Gonna
I
keep
was
going,
really surprised.
Yeah, so I'm already at 7,000 and like
Right? So
you
you're
haven't
doing
even touched PS5 yet, and PS4 's still
Right.
going.
Or PSP,
yeah.
Or Vita.
PS Vita.
So for me, since I'm not doing worldwide, I'm just looking at NTSC. But there's so many. I can't believe how many games are planned for PS4 in the last year. Well, people are saying that they're going to wrap up by 2024, but a lot of those release dates are placeholders. They have like December 12th, like 31, and it's like half the games have that date. So there's going to be games coming out in 2025 probably.
I
but it's
definitely
like,
think so.
how many? Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
But right now, there's hundreds of unreleased games. So,
We even brought up that, like, in 10, 15 years down the line, we mightn't see new systems, and we might still see new PS4 and new PS5 games. Like, in 20 years, there might still be limited run games putting out games, and they're still selling them. So why would they stop?
I mean, considering we're
There's
still
still a
seeing,
market buying them, they're going to keep selling them, right?
yeah, I mean, considering there's still new PS3 games, every now and again, that's quite the possibility.
yeah.
Yeah,
the other
they're just-
reason we don't see more PS3 is because these developers will turn around and say, well, it's easier for us to just make a PS4 game, and that's what's happening.
I'm kind of stealing the show here, going off on a tangent, but like the more I think about that question, like just don't know how long they're going to put out games. How are these limited print companies going to keep popping up? Like, I'm lucky I was able to acquire some of those bangers that people are like, well, to have a full set, you got to have this game.
Yeah.
And it's like, how long can I keep that up for without donating a kidney? Like, I got myself in over my head, right? So it's a little scary when you think of it that way. But my wife sort of had hope that things would slow down, because I told her, actually, it's a really funny conversation I had with her a couple months ago about being responsible. And I'm like, well, it looks like the PS4 limited run releases are slowing down, honey. So like, going to have a little bit more money. I'm going to, and slowly, those are the expensive ones. So once those are done, we're going to be good. Like, I won't be spending as much money on games. And I don't know that that's entirely true.
I think that is partially true. Like, I seen a new game just announced this morning, and it's only PS5. And like, this is starting to become a common trend in the gaming scene. Like, I believe Baldur's Gate 3 was just released today, and it's not on PS4. And it's been delayed on the Xbox Series S because it doesn't actually run on the Series S. And like, they're talking now that they might even have to cancel it because they don't want to have to like dumb down the game to make it perform on a different console. So we're getting to that stage where games aren't running on these consoles anymore. They're being designed for Series X's and PS5. So we're getting just new games, which is great. The X and the S is developers' nightmare.
That's what I think. Like I said, there's going to be a split between, indie and then all the new stuff. So like, I feel like indie developers will still be releasing stuff on the PS4 and the Switch for a long, long time. And if the new Nintendo console supports Switch cartridges, if that's still a thing, then I think that's going to be. I think they'll be making Switch games for a long, long time too. I really do. I think the Switch is going to be collectible for a very long time. Like, I think that system is going to be absolutely nuts down the line to buy for.
Yeah. It'll be ridiculous.
Absurd. I think it'll possibly surpass Nintendo, like the original Nintendo, some of the stuff. I mean, there'll be obviously those crazy games, but overall, on average, I think the per game on Switch is going to crush the Nintendo. Like, because there's a lot of really cheap carts for Nintendo, and there's some crap on the Switch, but I mean, just regular old games still hold their value really well. So I don't know. I just think it's going to be a powerhouse for like value down the road.
100% agree with you though, and it already is like you'll notice a game that's really popular, say limited run games,
Yep.
and the PS4 version will be $100, which is expensive, but the Switch version is like $300.
Oh yeah,
And that's
like,
common with so many titles, unless it's the case of like Griffin Knight Epic, where the PS4 version got released first. But if they're released at the same time, the Switch version's the one that people want. And that's the trend for so many games.
Did you guys ever wonder why Limited Run stopped putting out Vita games?
it's
They ran out of carts. is
yeah.
what I got told.
Well,
There's
They
no
ran
out.
carts left in Sony's company.
the last carts to ever roll out in America were a couple years before Asia. So that's why you had like Play Asia still putting out carts and whatnot for a bit after Limited Run. Sony literally said, we can't do this anymore. We're stopping production past this date. If you have anything else you want to make, do it now.
It was more of a Sony, we hate the Vita. We've got this many carts left, and then you can stop bothering us about this system. They don't talk about it. There was a press conference, and someone brought up the Vita, and that employee got fired because Sony don't want to talk about the Vita anymore. It's disgusting. And that was the recent event, too. I only just read about it, but yeah, it's actually crazy.
And that console was a technological marvel. You think
Oh,
Sony
yeah.
would be a little bit more proud of what
Well,
they achieved with it, but
You know, their whole thing was like, well, the market just doesn't want handheld gaming anymore, guys. That's just nobody wants that. That's for the,
maybe it's
that's
like
the old thing. And then the Switch came out, and it's like
Yeah.
the number one selling console almost of all time.
It's almost
and they're
like-
just that's got a sting. They just because that just basically proves they just messed up, man. They
Mhm.
did.
that's kind of like
And-
to me it's drawing a parallel to like the Sega Saturn that was like a year or two before its time.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
if
I
the
agree.
Vita had came out like a year and a half later, it probably would have killed it. Like it would have owned the Switch market.
It would have needed Sony support too. Like
Yeah.
the Switch has got Nintendo's full support. Look at the Wii U. The Wii U's very similar, and it just
Yeah.
didn't have the support. It came out a little bit early. It had
Yeah.
great titles on it, like the Vita, but it didn't work. But then that concept really got worked with the Switch. All those great Wii U games, you can buy them on the Switch. Why would you buy a Wii U?
Well, it's also about third party support too.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the Wii U got nobody, everybody I don't want a program for that stupid tablet. Like they were just like, no, I don't care. We're not doing this. And then it's like a cascading effect where like, because no one's supporting it, they didn't get a big install base. And then because they didn't have a big install base, nobody wanted to develop for it because why? Why would you want to spend all this time for, a console nobody owns?
I think another thing that killed the Vita, well, two things is marketing. Sony stopped marketing that thing very shortly after they came out with it. And another big thing I think
It's
that really hurts
expensive. It's too expensive. man.
that too, the memory cards. But another thing too is it wasn't a hybrid like the Switch, and they had the ability to do something with that because they made the PS TV. I think they made a hybrid like the Switch and made it a bit more powerful. Waited maybe another year before it came out. I think it could have done a lot better too.
You're right, and the problem with the PlayStation TV, why it didn't catch on, is because it was like $500 to get a Vita on a PlayStation TV.
Yep.
What's the point? It's cheap to get a Switch.
I actually have them, but then again, I also have a very good excuse. My vision's pretty limited, so I need the PS TV to be able to properly play a lot of games. But for the average person, there's no reason to own that thing if you already have a Vita, especially considering a lot of games don't even run on the thing natively. You had to hack the PS TV to play most of the games.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's also one of the most improperly named devices.
Oh yeah.
Like I've heard of the PS TV when it came out, and I didn't know what the hell it did. I figured it was some sort of
Right.
literal TV mod.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh cool,
Like
I
Apple
can.
TV or something.
Yeah, I can watch PlayStation on my little TV, or maybe I can watch. I thought it was like maybe like a Steam Link device, like a
Mhm.
streaming thing, like
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. That's all I thought it was. I had no idea. And then, I'm lucky. I was one of those. I found out about them when they were $20,
Yeah.
and I went and bought one for $20.
I got
and,
mine for 20 as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and then like literally, I'd say within a year, everyone's like, "These things are the shit," and they were like $200. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm so glad I got one."
The price has tanked a bit on them. I picked up another one recently for $100
Okay.
So
Well,
they're
the
gonna
modding
move.
options are just so many ways.
I
to
want to.
do it.
I want to show you guys what I got for $10 that nobody cared about.
Let's see it. Let's
I'm
see it.
expecting to see like 128 gig memory card or something.
It's an orphan. Where'd you pick him up?
Nice.
Hello, sir. You know.
Oh, right. Here they are. These were on clearance.
Ooh, nice. I love that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they are.
$10 each, complete in box.
That's cool, man. See, that's my favorite type of stuff to collect these days. Is I like weird peripherals and stuff like for specific games that
Take
offer
that,
like.
Nintendo Wii, eat your heart out.
I just like having like something that offers a unique experience because you have this stupid thing. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
I love that stuff. Like I don't care if it's a DDR pad. I mean, I just like having
Dude, Rock
cool-
Band.
I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
That's the Project Diva controllers. Love those things.
Exactly. It's super fun.
Just storing them isn't fun.
No,
No,
it is not.
no, they're not. Yeah, it's a problem. And then
Hey guys, I think it's about time to play Figsy's quiz.
Oh,
dear
yeah.
Lord. Well, Lee's about to leave. Nope, he's stretching. Actually, oh, we're screwed, guys.
Put my game face on.
Oh no,
Guys, check this
oh,
out.
he's got the jersey.
Ooh.
He's got the
Okay.
jersey.
Oh, I think I know what that might be.
It has a Canadian emblem on the corner there. Right.
That's so cool.
We gotta put on some dramatic music or something. There it is.
Well, guys, tonight's exciting. So AJ and Lee are both undefeated in the quiz. I've got their stats here. You've got Joe's stats as well. So Joe's
Definitely
played
been defeated.
1-3, lost 4. Lee's played 1, 1-1, lost 0, and AJ's played 2, 1-2, lost 0. So we've got the heavyweights in tonight, and as well as Joe.
And Joe.
Yeah, you got more wins than both of them.
That's just purely. Never mind. Yeah, let's do this.
Now, tonight's quiz is done by Sylvan. So thank you to Sylvan for the questions. Let's get into it, guys, with question 1. Who would like to go first? I'm going to offer it to Joe first, considering you're up against the 2 champs. Joe, would you like to go first tonight? Or
Yeah, man, let's do it.
all right, so Joe's going to go first, AJ's going to go second, and Lee's going to go third. Each question is going to be worth 1 point. Each steal will be also worth 1 point. Let's get into it, guys. Question 1. This one is for Joe. What fast food restaurant gave away an Xbox and an Xbox 360 by an order? Was it Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Domino's, or Burger King?
Xbox and an Xbox 360.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, oh, God. I know Domino's has done a bunch of cool stuff like that. I know Taco Bell's done that. I've never heard of McDonald's. I don't know much about Xbox though. What are the options one more time?
So I've got Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Domino's, or Burger King.
Oh man, I'm gonna say Domino's.
Incorrect. AJ for the steal.
Is this in any particular region of the world, or is it just in America, UK?
So all questions are going to be worldwide.
Okay. Could you please go over the options one more time?
So I've got Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Domino's, or Burger King.
I'm gonna go Burger King.
Burger King is correct.
It's the Sneak King.
That's why I was thinking about that. I remember they did the promotion with the games.
All right, question 2. AJ, this one's for you.
Oh wait, am I supposed to be keeping score?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
So which of these games received the worst critic rating movie based on fighting games on the Rotten Tomatoes website? Was it Dead or Alive? Was it Mortal Kombat 1995? Street Fighter 1994? Or Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li?
They're all so good though.
This is for AJ, right?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
for AJ.
You'll get the steal if he gets it wrong.
Boy, I know nothing about movies.
I don't think I've seen the Dead or Alive movie.
How old are
I'm
you,
not-
AJ? How old were you when
I'm
these
only
movies came?
25.
You're 25?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see these movies.
No. I think I did see the 95 Mortal Kombat movie when I was younger. That's
I've only seen two of
What?
these movies.
That's
I saw
equivalent
it
to my
in
grandmother letting me
95.
watch it.
Yeah.
gosh, I'm gonna go honestly with I'm gonna go with the legend. I'm gonna go with the fourth option.
Legend of Chun-Li is correct. AJ gets it right.
Damn.
Wow.
It got a 3% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's memorably bad.
All right, question 3. Lee, this one's for you. What was the name of the princess Mario saves in the original Donkey Kong? Was it Daisy, Peach, Princess Toadstool, or Pauline?
Pauline.
Correct answer was Pauline. And Pauline later returned in Super Mario Odyssey. So at the end of round 1, AJ's got himself an early lead. Lee's right behind, and Joe is yet to score. So the undefeated guys are off to an early start. All right, question 4. Joe, this one's for you.
Let's do it.
What console can't play Netflix? Is it Xbox, PS2, Wii, or PS3?
I mean, the Wii definitely can. PS3 definitely can. I'm assuming Xbox can. But that came out at the same time as PS2. PS2, you had online, but it was like... Hey, I do suck, dude. I know. That's why I mean, this isn't news. Damn. I will say PS2.
Incorrect. AJ?
It's the Xbox.
Yeah.
It is the Xbox. So the others
One or
all
the
have
other.
the
Sons
disc
of
that
bitches.
you could get.
I knew it was one or the other. God damn it. Sorry. Sorry, Lee. I'm throwing it.
No, that's okay. I think I remember the PS2 coming with a Netflix installation disc,
Yeah. Wasn't that only in Brazil?
like subscription.
Yeah, so
service.
the PS2... Hold up, Andy. The PS2 disc only got released in Brazil for Netflix, where the
Nice, AJ.
Wii and the PS3 one were American releases.
Yeah.
So, like, you got a little disc that you put in, and then I don't know how it worked. Could you download? How did it work?
You had to fucking...
Any Brazilian collectors out there that have that?
Funnily enough, I actually asked someone in Brazil, and they couldn't find it. So it's unconfirmed if it actually existed or not.
This is a trick question.
There's photos
bullshit.
on the internet, but yeah, we haven't been able to find it yet.
I'm changing
All
this.
right, next question. This one is for AJ. Question 5. Which music band didn't get their own game on PS3? Was it Green Day, Metallica, Linkin Park, or the Beatles?
It is Linkin Park.
Correct answer is Linkin Park. So we had Green Day Rock Band, we had Guitar Hero Metallica, and we had the Beatles Rock Band.
That's a good question. I mean, most of us would probably know the answer to that, but that's very plausible.
I put so many hours in the Beatles Rock Band.
Linkin Park would be cool.
That would be cool.
All right, question number 6, similar question. What rapper has no song on Def Jam Rap Star? Was it Eminem, 50 Cent, Soulja Boy, or Tupac? Lee?
Soulja Boy. I don't even think he was a thing back where he wasn't big enough, so go Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy is incorrect. Joe, for the steal?
Oh, I know what it is. Whoops.
I'm going to say Tupac.
Tupac's also incorrect. AJ for the steal?
Let's see.
50-50.
Well, I know that 50 Cent had his own game, so he's up for licensing stuff. Then again, Black Ops. Then again, in Eminem, he was in Black Ops, so they're both up for licensing. Boy. I think I'm going to go with.
Easy E.
I think I'm going to go with 50 Cent.
50 Cent was incorrect. It was
Oh, I
Guess
should have
it
listened to it, man. I should have listened
Wow.
to that guy.
All right, guys. At the end of round 2, Joe's still yet to score. Lee's got 1 point, and AJ's got a massive lead of 4
Damn.
points already.
Okay.
AJ's answered 2 questions, and he's got himself 4 points.
Tough question.
He's got all my points, son of a bitch.
I never played the PS3 Def Jam games, but I remember the PS2 one had a huge roster. I thought like most of those guys would have been.
I tried to play the
Nintendo.
Rap Star game once, but like society stopped me, and I wasn't allowed to. So
Now it's like a $150 game.
is it really?
Yeah. The PS2
Why?
ones. Anyway.
Why?
All right,
Yep.
question 7.
Even the
Joe,
greatest
this one's for
hits version.
you.
Okay, I got it. Here we go. I got this.
What console had 3 Zelda games and 1 Mario game?
3 Zelda games and 1 Mario game. I gotta think about this. 'Cause most of them have more than 1 Mario game. 3 Zelda games. That's not too weird. How many were on the Game Boy? Right, it was. How many Mario games? There's more than 1 Mario. There's Mario Land 1 and 2, right? And then Wario. Does that count? Damn it. 3 Zelda games and 1 Mario game. What console had it? Oh, this is the. It's like the. Oh God, it's the. That's what's it called? Oh shit, the CDI.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
CDI. Congrats, Joe.
Goddamn,
Getting
Al.
a 10 on
That
I
was
was
good,
like-
man. Oh no, the
I'm
fifth,
like-
man. It's like, oh, I got this. I got this.
The
Good job,
one
man. Good
Mario
job.
was like, I'm like, this like
I was
more than
looking
one
at that
Mario on
question and I'm
everything.
like, what a BS type of question to put in there.
Dude. that Mario game is what got me. That was the one I was like, oh,
That's Hotel
yeah.
Mario. That's a good game. That's the only good game on the system, I think.
It's been a quiz question before. That's what probably got you thinking about it, right?
I just
All right, question 8. AJ, this one's for you.
All right.
What was the name? All right, thanks, Sandy. What was the name of the 7-Up mascot that has his own game?
I think it's Cool Spot.
It's Cool Spot. Correct. And Andy just pulled the answer up before.
To be fair, I did not see the cool part. So if you don't want to give me a point, I understand.
I'll give you a point.
I'm actually deducting 3 points just to make this more interesting.
I'm going to do the rest of the quiz, Andy. You can do it when you're on the computer. All right, question 9. This one's for Lee. Who was the publisher of this game?
What? I don't know. THQ is on my head, but I could be wrong. Smaller. Thinking a smaller studio. But I have to go with THQ because drawing a blank.
THQ is incorrect. Joe?
989.
989 is also incorrect. AJ?
Rockstar.
Rockstar is correct. AJ,
AJ, stop it.
AJ. Well, they're not a
AJ
smaller.
came in undefeated for a reason, guys. It
Yeah,
wasn't a fluke.
nice, AJ.
Thank you.
Just on that, AJ won the quiz of the show 50, where we had
Mhm.
6 or 7 guests on, so he really did prove himself in the quiz. All right, moving on to the final round. Question 10. Joe, this one's for you.
These questions are worth 7 points.
No, I'm going to show you 3 photos, and you have
All
to
right.
tell me the video game from these photos.
Okay, we got ass, hairy, and suppositories. What is this? What is this? Gene Monster pills. Pocket monsters. Pocket monsters. Suppositories. I don't understand what these last two things are. What?
It's crazy, but you're actually onto it.
Yeah.
I know it's Pocket Monsters 2, maybe something. Pokemon is because this pocket isn't Pocket Monster mean Pokemon. It's like Pokemon Red and Blue. Yeah. Yeah.
Good job.
Suppositories.
GG's. That was
All
good.
right.
Good
That's
job.
fun.
Good
I'm like,
job.
he's got it. He just needs to get the last two things.
Exactly, man.
All right,
Yeah.
question 11. AJ, this one's for you.
I was like the Matrix. I
What
don't understand what the blue
world-famous
pill and the red pill are.
limited edition brand is this Game Gear?
Ooh.
I think I know this one. Sorry, it's Coca-Cola, correct?
Correct answer is Coca-Cola.
I've actually been eyeing one of those for a long time.
It's pretty cool, not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, it's
Mhm.
really nice.
All right, question 12. This one is for Lee. Now, Lee, I'm going to show you some photos, and you have to tell me the video game from these photos.
I feel like I want to reason it out, kind of like what Joe did on Apple Field, but that doesn't sound like a game. Power. Maybe it's a simulator. Is it a farming simulator? It's an empty field, man. That's boring. Apple window, power window, Apple simulator. Maybe they have a closer look at that icon. That's a battery.
It's meant to be an air tag. It's not meant to be deceiving or anything.
Yeah.
You want to hand it over to Joe, Lee?
Sure, Joe. Go for it.
Oh, dude, I do not know. I know AJ knows though. That son of a. I know he knows. I know he knows. He knows. I know he knows. I mean, Apple Field is literally the first thing that popped in my head when I saw it as well. But just I feel like the Apple's probably deceiving. It's probably like something else. It's probably like Button Field or some dumbass thing. Or it's like you said, it's like Air Tag Field and Locator Field or Fruit Field or something. I'm gonna say Banjo Kazooie.
Oh, that was close. It's not Banjo Kazooie. AJ, what is it?
I have no idea.
Oh God!
Yes, he doesn't know. Yeah, I don't even care if he wins now. I'm glad you.
Well, Lee and Joe were both pretty close with what they said. but
Don't give him no
obviously
hints.
one
What are you doing?
word.
He doesn't need hints. That's an orange. That's what that is.
I can't even begin to wrap my head around this one. So
I'll open this one up to chat. Does anyone in chat know what we're looking at here?
All I could see is Communist Slave Company
wait,
Field. I don't.
isn't there a game? Hang on,
I think I have an
I
idea.
don't care if it counts towards a point. I'm just curious if this is correct. Isn't there a simulator game where you make phones? Would it be that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you all a hint. It was an NES game.
Mm.
An NES game.
The one console.
The Flintstones.
It's probably a Harvest Moon game.
Not Harvest Moon, no.
Oh.
NES.
And one of the words you've gotten right. You just got one of the other words wrong. Won't be worth any points at this point, but this is just for pride.
Yeah, I give up. I don't need pride.
I have no idea, brother.
Too much Nintendo on this channel.
Still open to chat. No one get it?
No idea.
All right, so what we were looking for was track field. Track and field.
Oh,
Yeah, see, I knew the first one was going to be some obscure thing like that.
He's had it with Apple Field, and you're just missing the tracking of what the air tracker does.
I forgot that was an air. Yeah. Okay.
I knew that was a
Guys,
clue.
let's give a big congratulations to AJ for a dominant performance there. Congrats, AJ. And AJ is still undefeated in the quiz, so we'll have to get you back on here, AJ. But before we move on, guys, we have a special question for chat. So going off the pictures that we just showed, this one's a little bit harder, but this is open to chat. It's also open to all you guys. 3 photos. What video game is it?
I know what it is.
You're welcome to answer, Joe.
Well, that's Yoshi. And that's the world. So what could that be in the middle?
I know what this one is.
It's Yoshi's Sex Sheepin' World. Isn't that right?
Only in New Zealand. Gonna get cancelled for that.
Sorry, I keep getting us under review. My apologies.
Need the full title. Anyone got the full title?
If chat can't answer it, I've got it.
What do you got, AJ?
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yoshi's Woolly World is correct.
How come I can't get quiz questions right, but like it doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, I know this instantly. What the hell?
You even got control tonight if you wanted to go first or not. So you had all the control. Not that that mattered because you just gave AJ points.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter when
AJ finished on 6 points, which may be one of the highest totals we've seen. I'll have to go back and check.
What do I win?
Right.
There you go.
That's it.
That's
You will get an invitation to Who Wants to Be a Game Collector Season 2 as the champion, and if you win that, you win a PlayStation game. So there is a prize in it, AJ.
Honestly, I was just joking. I don't need any prize. This is fun by itself.
No, you do get 1 coin. That's what.
Nice.
Keep your pride.
You guys got any recent pickups to show off?
Do I? Yes, I do.
As do I.
Well, who would like to go first?
Yeah.
Just go grab them?
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh.
I'm loving that jacket, by the way. While Lee's doing that, I'll show you guys the one game I picked up this week. So I picked this up a couple of weeks ago, but it didn't have a manual. So I went on eBay and bought a platinum copy of the game for $5 so I could complete it. So this is Tourist Trophy, a real racing simulator. If you don't know what this is basically Gran Turismo 4 with motorbikes.
That's
It's made by Polyphony, which make Gran Turismo.
That's cool.
It actually uses the Gran Turismo 4 engine. Like, it's exactly the same game with
interesting.
motorbikes. It's so much fun. If you're a Gran Turismo fan, give this one a go. And now it's complete. So I don't add games to the collection if they haven't got manuals. So I kind of wanted it once I tested it and realized how fun it was. I'm like, I'm keeping this.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah, it's funny too. I remember there was a long when I first started collecting, I had like no interest in any racing games, but like now I love them. Like I don't know, I think they're some of the funnest ones to revisit because I feel like a lot of them, the graphics don't really matter that much. It's just the tracks and the mechanics and the racing. It's just fun no matter what.
yeah.
Like, so I'm like really like loving that genre more and more as
Honestly.
I get older.
One of my favorite racers is Burnout 3.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Yeah, that game. Oh,
Crash
so good.
Road. How good was Crash?
My girlfriend has a Steam Deck, and I've been telling her for like months. I'm like, you should let me put some emulators on there. I can throw you some games, and she's like, yeah, whatever. So she finally was like, I want Need for Speed Underground because that's like one of her favorite games. So I was like, okay. So I gave her Need for Speed, but I had to. I was like, I put Burnout 3 on there too. I'm like, you should try that too. I'm like, you should. It's just like. It's to me like one of the absolute best PS2 games. Period. Like forget racing games. That's just
I
like
agree.
when I was collecting, I was like one of the first sets I went after. I got all the Burnout games because they're so fucking good, man.
You can hate racing games and still love Burnout 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's that good.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing too. Like, I was trying to explain to her, I'm like, you can crash on purpose. It'll be fun. It's really fun,
right? The road rage thing, the road rage mode is a lot of fun too.
Yeah,
exactly. Where it's designed to crash into people. The more like takedowns you get, the longer you go, and it's a weird concept because it completely does the opposite of what you expect in a racing game. You know.
Yeah, and the Steam Deck, dude, you can run them in 3 times resolution, 60 FPS, the games, and they look phenomenal on that thing. And I'm gonna buy myself Steam Deck. Like I've been putting it off, but like after I did this and set it all up for it, I was playing with it. I was like, oh man, I gotta get one of these. I just can't take it anymore. I need one. They are so sick, dude. And of course, they were just on sale like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't buy one. But
they'll be on sale again. The price is already dropped.
Yeah, November. I'm sure I'll wait that long. I'll probably buy it like the second the show's over.
What do you got for us, Lee?
So I sort of went with a theme here because I picked up a couple of lenticular items.
Oh, cool, dude. I love lenticular stuff.
They're pretty cool. I started collecting lenticular stuff back in the PS1 era when I realized there was alternate covers. And they're kind of a thing that I look for. Yeah, a couple of the items I have are one is from a former GameStop manager that went to exclusive events where there was promo items. And the other one was in the industry and got out and is sitting on a bunch of things that he was probably told to throw out. So without further ado, what do we want to start with here? Here's the most recent thing I got. I got it this week. So inside this case, there is a hologram.
Cool. Very cool.
I just didn't have anything to put it in to protect it. Mm-hmm. So it's just in there for now. Sonic Unleashed, released on PS2 and PS3. And we're going to go with something I got last year from a friend in Mexico.
That's so cool.
Oh, that is cool.
This is, I say,
so cool.
Pictures don't do it justice is the joke.
Yeah.
But,
what's the text on the spine?
Yeah, so it's got both Injustice and Batman.
Imagine if that was lenticular too.
Branded on the side. Cool. Yeah, and it's built into the case.
I love how this just 2 game covers in one.
And like, the back of it is pretty cool too.
So cool.
Yeah.
You know, you sent me photos of that. I still haven't comprehended what it is until now.
Yeah, so and the way that it slides in is top to bottom, right?
Nice. Yeah. Love that.
We'll go to the next item here. So this is from Borderlands. I haven't opened the pack yet. Oh, where's the camera here? It's got a bunch of character cards. This was like a pre-order goodie, I think, that they threw in Canada.
That's sweet. One of my favorite games. Borderlands 2 is my favorite in the franchise.
Can't see.
That's really cool.
The brick.
I guess it's not. Some of them are like up down, and I'm like inverting. It's like playing a video game where the controls are inverted.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't figure it out.
It's like skating Goofy Foot and Skate or Die.
All right, I've got some Dukes of Hazzard stuff here. I don't know if you want me to save that till later.
Oh, you can bring it out now. It goes ahead with the thumbnail of today's show.
That's
Right.
true.
Shout out to
Yep.
Pavel for doing the face changing thumbnails. They look really awesome.
So since I'm here in Canada, I pretty much avoided these games like the plague back in the day. I don't actually have the second game for PS1 yet. But I have something unique for PS2 that I haven't seen any other collectors with. So we've got a Dukes of Hazzard. This is the standard copy that everyone's familiar with.
Mhm.
But for some reason, in a certain part of Quebec,
What in the hell?
the game is known.
Chérie femme pure.
Yes.
Retour de la Jaroli. And they
That's
took off.
right.
They took off the sweet flag, man.
That's right.
That
Yeah,
is
well,
so
I don't know
weird.
if I could do a side by side here.
Mon
man.
Dieu, sacre bleu.
It's not the General Lee anymore.
No. And
I guess they didn't
what's
have it on there
really
either.
unique
That's
about
weird. Why
this
wasn't it
is
on
the
there?
spines are
Oh,
completely
wow.
different.
Huh.
Gosh.
That is interesting.
I'm bad at this. Okay, there you go.
Nice.
Spines are different.
Sheriff femme pure.
Yeah, I tried to find a second copy of this. Like I've been looking for a couple of years and I just can't find one. I noticed that in France, it looks like they go by this title in France, but those would be PAL copies. But I haven't been able to find another NTSC copy with that.
Very interesting. I wonder if it was just like a Quebec release or something weird, man, like that or a regional thing.
Oh,
Look at these guys.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, that's cool. Oh man, that is so cool.
So like everybody's in there.
Yeah, that's some nitro. That's sick, dude.
That's cool how they've done
Got
that.
DDP, got the Hulkster,
Oh,
got
yeah.
Goldberg. What else you got in there?
Yeah.
That's pretty rad, dude.
Well, that was fun. I could show you guys some other lenticular stuff, but it's probably stuff you've seen before.
Hey, whatever you want to show off, mate.
I'll go have a little look around while you guys are chatting.
All right. Well, let's say the AJ stuff.
All right. So I have. You need to give me just 1 second here to get this probably taken care of. Apologies.
You're right, AJ. Darky's
Yeah.
just shared some really awesome pickups over on the Discord channel if you guys are in there.
So I mentioned earlier I picked up some systems, and this is one of them.
Hey, I've been meaning to pick up a
Hey.
Saturn. I kind of want to get one in Mod 1, dude.
I don't blame you, man. I got a.
They're pretty cheap. They're not
Yeah.
that you can get. I seen Saturn like $100, man.
For the Japanese ones in particular, but I got left out on this. I mean, I don't know if you see this, but it is like really nice condition.
It looks clean, yeah.
And the only thing it had wrong with it is it was missing the little door here.
Whatever.
But I got it for like $100. Like this
Yeah.
clean,
Yeah.
I can't complain for 100.
You get any
Yeah.
controllers?
Yeah, matching Model 1 controller. So,
Okay, sweet.
and then I picked up. Let's see, I have another system. I'll show that off in a minute because I have a game to go show along with it. I picked up. I'll show this one for last. That's the coolest one in my opinion. This is one I've never seen before, and that's Warcraft. Hang on 1 second. Let me move this light out of the way. A little bit.
Warcraft 2, God. All right.
Yeah, I've never
I
seen
love
it.
that game.
I've
so
never
much.
seen the PS1 version. I thought it was pretty cool.
doing?
Ready
to serve. Yeah, ready to serve. I love those games. I
It's
put
so iconic.
so many hours into those games, dude.
Now, next to pick up a, I don't want to go for disc onlys, but I got the same day I got the Saturn, and it's a really, really hard to find Sega CD game. That is Lunar 2
Whoa,
Eternal
whoa,
Blue.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah, nice.
Oh yeah, that is
So-
a good one, man.
It sucks it's disc only, but with some of this stuff, it's, I'm taking what I can get for a reasonable price.
I used to own that game. That was one of the games my brother sold. I had Lunar 1 and Lunar 2 on Sega CD.
Ugh,
I got this as well recently.
nice. Risky's Revenge.
It's starting light. I'm sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. We can see it.
So
Just keep the glare off her boobs. We're fine.
for the Saturn, I did pick up one game for it, and that is Mr. Bones.
Nice.
It's a really interesting title.
I love the artwork. That's all.
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And then I picked up these two. I got this from a buddy of mine. I didn't know about this; it was already gone. But a buddy of mine was really nice, and he bought all 5. So he sold me one of these for what he paid for.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
88, yeah, 88 and arcade. That game's horrible from what I've heard, but for $35-$40, I couldn't say no to that.
Especially when they're a couple $100 on eBay.
Oh yeah. And then speaking of which, picked up the VGP reprint of
Right.
Siberia. So
And it arrived really fast. How good
Yeah.
is it to see like game companies selling games that they actually
Yeah.
have in their
yeah,
hands?
for sure.
I'm in Canada, and like the VG Video Games Plus, I thought they were on the West Coast, but they must have a distributor somewhere in Ontario, because I
I'm
got
pretty
mine-
sure they're in Toronto, man.
I got mine the next day.
Oh no, they're in Nigeria Falls.
Yeah.
Is that
Niagara
Toronto?
Falls.
Niagara
Yeah.
Falls?
Nigeria.
Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls. Well, I just remember the postcode from getting them, and that it said Nigeria.
Next to the Canadian
Niagara
Amazon.
Falls.
Yeah, that's cool. That's close to the border too, so
Yeah.
pretty sweet for US. Fast.
This is me who
Hey.
plays geography games for a living.
There's the PC Engine Mini. I bought this because of all the
Ooh.
shmups that are on here.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, dude.
There are some amazing shmups that are for a very reasonable price.
That's got all the
So the-
Turbo Graphics titles
Yep.
too.
A lot of them, yes. And what's really cool is a lot of these they have both the Japanese and English version. So,
Mhm.
for example, the Ease RPGs they have the Japanese and English version of those. You can play those fully.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Alright.
dude. You thinking about getting a second controller? You looked how much
Uh,
those are?
No, I'm not because I actually have a normal Turbo Graphics with a multi-tap. So if I play multiplayer
Yeah.
that way, I'll just never drive.
My brother, he had the regular TurboGrafx Mini,
Yeah,
and I've been like I asked him for it for years. I'm like, you use that thing? You use that? You ever tell you use that? Because he just bought it because he's like, oh, I think that's neat.
This is cool.
And
Yeah.
for like years, I was finally like, I wore him down. He's finally like, take it. God damn it. Just stop asking me. I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm glad you done. I'm glad you. I can't believe you offered that to me. So anyway, as soon as I brought it home, so soon, dude, I asked him every time I saw him for like a year until he was seriously like, I just take it for the love of God. But as soon as I got it home, I'm like, sweet, I'll buy another controller. And they were like $150 for
Yeah.
a second. I was like, God damn it! Even free stuff's gonna cost me a fortune. What the hell, man?
So the next thing I picked up was a game for a system I picked up. And there we go. It is I don't know if you've ever seen these before or not. It's a Famicom disk system game.
Ooh.
Do you own
And-
a Famicom disc system?
I'm going to show that off in a second.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to
But,
spoil
no,
it.
you're good. You're good. But it's really cool. If you guys have never seen these before, they're basically
Almost looks like a
floppy disks.
floppy disk.
Yeah, that's what they kind of are. And a lot of these will have two sides. One side to save, one side to play the game. So you put your game in, you see the title screen, it'll ask you to save and flip the disc over. So it's an interesting piece of gaming history from the 80s.
What's the
kinda
actual
cool.
game?
I apologize. I can't remember the full title, but this is basically it's the mysterious something's castle. And I'm sorry, my mind's running a bit of a blank with the full title, but this is a very good title if you can find it. Next up,
Nice,
this
dude. The Turbo
off
Express.
eBay.
Oh hell yeah!
The
There
good
it
one
is.
here.
Let's go.
And what's really cool is
That's
this thing was
so cool.
this thing was modified to actually be able to play on North American TVs via AV out in the back.
Nice.
And this thing's been fully recapped, refurbished, new belts and everything. And shipping from Japan, it was only like $120.
Nice,
Wow.
dude.
Yeah, that's a win, man. Especially having it modded for North America.
Oh yeah, because
It sounds like the seller knows his target audience.
oh yeah, for sure. Because the only the thing about that particular system is you have to tune it to the Japanese channel. I want to say 96. But you can't do that on most American TVs. So this guy put an AV mod in it. Now the next thing I picked up, and this is one of my absolute favorites. As you guys, like I said before, I'm going for a full NTSC Vita set. I'm trying to go for anything I can that's been released in English. So Play Asia came out, and they like, hey, we have a couple extra, we have this one game that was never put out. So I actually was able to secure a copy of Jet Set Knights.
Nice, dude.
That's the last one they did.
Congrats.
That's the last one they did. I
They
got
sold
it.
out in, like,
That
2
sold out
minutes.
real fast. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was lucky enough. The second at 8:00, I had everything preloaded and ready to go. So very happy I was able to add that to the collection as well this recently. So
Yeah,
so that's
sometimes
actually there's one more thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted a little aside there. Like sometimes it's hard to plan your life around these releases. Like you're on the road, you need a reminder, or you're in the middle of work.
Oh
and
yeah.
Your break isn't for another hour. It's like, oh, hang on, guys, I gotta go to the bathroom. Don't kill anyone. Like I'll be right
Mhm.
back. Like, oh, there's no reception in here. Now I gotta run out to the window. Oh, should
Yeah.
have thought of that.
Yeah, what sucks is when you plan your life around it and you're there on time and you still don't get it.
Oh, that's the worst. That is
That's
the absolute worst.
when
You
it's
wake
in your
up at
fucking
4 a.m.
card
and
and
you're
you're just
out,
refreshing it and you're like, just buy it.
Another one that gets me is when they give you like 20 minutes to like an hour before they actually drop it.
What I hate is when they're like going live at 8:00 and you like,
Yeah.
all right, you like take your break at 8 and you're scheduled, and then it just doesn't go up.
Oh yeah.
And you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and it's like doesn't go up. And then you're like, I gotta go back, and then you go back to what you're doing, and then 10 minutes later, it's up and it's gone.
You're
You're like-
spamming the button, and the worst part is you're competing with bots now. Probably,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
bots
you are.
doing it. So
Well,
Yeah.
what they do, Limited Run do this, is they have the page available and then they take that page down 1 minute before they put it up and put a new one up. Well, this is what they used to do. And this was so the bots would have to like re-put their things in to get the new page, and it would slow the bots down. And it was a tactic to stop the bots. But obviously, they don't do that anymore. So, it mustn't have worked all the time.
And the last pickup I got was the Hyperdimension Neptunia Sisters versus Sisters Limited Edition.
nice.
And this comes with a lot of extra stuff that's not, in the box, like the game and a big card mat. So, but that's what I picked up recently.
AJ Darky was saying the Famicom title is called The Mysterious Murasame Castle.
Thank you.
What do you got for us, Lee?
Well, I was reluctant to show. I don't want to upstage AJ, but I have some similar things. I picked up a few things like the last few months. So this is part of that five
nice.
bundle, right?
Nice. You got the
We got
FOMO
that.
cover.
You got the variant there,
Nice, dude.
the aptly named FOMO variant,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Then in the variant circles, there's a public post up there in the pickups group about the set of NBA Street cards, and one of the hard ones to find. And now he's retired, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady? Yeah.
Yep. There he is. I feel like my lighting is not good for this. Need to reposition the backlight. Then you guys probably saw me casually post this in the PS4 group not too long ago.
Oh dear Lord.
Wow.
There it is.
There it
Nice
is.
job,
eh?
man.
That was a really quick hustle flip for me. That was on eBay, and I was like, I don't know how many eyes are on that thing. I sort of had an idea what I would throw in for a last minute bid. I don't want to give away all my strategies, but a lot of times people are going to be watching for this. So if I'm one of the first people to get in before it hasn't been up for long, I'll throw in a high bid at the beginning to sort of dissuade some people because people start to creep up with the bids. So sometimes you actually get things cheaper that way because it doesn't get inflated early on. You'll get those last second bids, but it is a risk you pay where there's a guessing game. It's like, how high is it going to go? So I usually will have one or two more incremental small bids I'll throw in at the last second, but that first bid will be to scare people away. And I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to go for way more. It's like I hadn't sold the items that I needed to sell to pay for it yet. So I literally won the auction, and then I'm like, okay, I got 48 hours to finish
Figure this out, yeah.
my other stuff. And I had somebody lined up to sell a big item to, and I'm like, it was good timing. I kind of got lucky. I didn't take a big loss on it, but yeah, somebody else took a rare variant of my PS1 right at that time when I needed the money to get the game. So
That's cool, man. Nice pickup though.
it is.
Congrats.
But that's the importance of having a collection. You know, it pays for those other exciting items when they pop up.
Mhm.
Whoa.
That's cool. That's cool.
Right. This is a GameStop.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
What you call it? Pre-production review copy cover. So this one didn't make the cut for the final cover, but this is what they had on their review copies.
Who the hell is Ellen Page?
Right.
Fucking
She changed her name. I get the joke.
Oh,
Yeah. And along the same lines, same type of deal.
Oh, that's cool.
With the GameStop car.
Yeah, there's a bit more of a story for this one though. Like this one, there was a planned version of Gran Turismo 5 that never got released. It never saw the light of day. That had this car in it. So I forget. There's an article about it online because I was like, what does it say there? For display only. Like, don't you just love owning things that say like not for resale, for display only?
oh yeah.
Is that illegal? Like when you tear off the tags off mattresses? Like, is somebody gonna? I'm always wondered about that.
And I got one more here. This one's a year old, but it fits in with the theme of special covers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is this the custom made ones where they did like 200 of them?
I don't know what the number was, but they were given as an appreciation thank you to developers that worked on the PS4 release.
That's cool.
So it's mock like PS1 style,
Mhm.
but it's got the cardboard disc with the PS4 download for the PS4 game inside.
There's a
That's
guy over
super
in the
cool.
UK that's done like all the AAA PS4 games in PS1 form, and they look really cool together.
Yeah, I think I saw those.
Like Bloodborne, there's
Yeah.
Dark Souls, and we God of War, and so on. They look great. They look really good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's nostalgia, but I always liked the form factor and the black spine on PS1. And it takes up less space, so
Yeah, I love how the PS1 games look more than any
That's-
other system I've got. So
that's one thing I really like about the PS4. Like, although the library is huge, that little like 1/4 millimeter of plastic less that they have than the PS3 makes it take up about the same amount of space as it,
Yeah.
or the PS2 library. Even though there's way more games, it still takes up I'm thinking it's going to take up less space than the PS2 stuff.
yeah, big time. And like the shelves I've got don't fit DVD cases like they fit Blu-rays, where the Blu-rays are flush, so the DVDs have got like 2 centimeters of gaps, which add up to like one shelf that's missing a row. So, you know, you're missing out on. I think it's like 480 games compared to 630, so it is like significant once you do talk numbers at the end.
Right.
Hey guys, we have another segment on this show where we show off stuff, and that's called Show and Tell. So let's get into some Show and Tell. We got a little awful photo here.
We gotta get another one, man. We can't keep using that. It's creepy.
Honestly, I think it adds to it, man. Keep it how it is.
If anyone wants to make a graphic for us, let us know.
Or we just double down and make it creepier.
Oh yes, go full on horror into it, man.
Yeah.
Well, we've Baldur's Gate 3 coming out today. I thought I'd show my Baldur's Gate collection. So, got Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, PS2. And then we had Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2.
I love those games, by the way.
And then
I
the unofficial third
absolutely love
one
those.
is called Champions of Norath. But then the official third one just got released today. So
Yeah.
As Champions Return to Arms. You don't have a Return to Arms or no?
I don't know if we got a PAL release, so I'll have to look into that one.
Baldur's Gate.
Ah.
Do you remember the name of the universe that those games exist in?
Isn't it just the Diablo universe? I don't know if it's got a name or.
So, yeah, I feel like I was going to say something about my indexing on my website. So, like, I thought one of the topics of the chat was related to series that sort of existed or continued from one console to the next. But like I was saying before, a lot of times they change the naming, or it's part of the same universe, but you just don't know it's even part of the same series. So that's something I tried to do on the website, was sort of give tags to those things, and then you could find it in the same part of the library on each console.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
That
if
is
you do
cool.
get back to looking at my website, like, check that out, because it helps guide your collecting. You're like, oh, what about this game? Maybe I want to check it out.
And like how Joe just brought up, do you own this game? And then if I was looking at that, I'd know if it was on the PAL library or not.
Right.
I brought some other cool things along. On PS3, PS2 got these as well. But on PS3, we got a couple of triple packs that were like completely random. One was a foundation pack for charity. One was another ESA software pack, and they all had like 3 random games. So the first one is called the ESA Entertainment Software Association Foundation.
Correct.
It included Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Tomb Raider Underworld, and Mercenaries 2. It's a really, really weird pack, but it's pretty cool.
Those ESA packs on PS2 are very hard to find. They used to be more plentiful on PS3, but they're starting to dry up. So,
and then we actually got some over in Europe as well, which are really hard to find. So they go hand in hand, these two. So the first one is Sega Superstar Tennis, Fuel, and Tomb Raider Underworld. And Fuel is around the correct way. So this is done by Games Aid, which is a charity over in the UK. I believe all profits went to this charity as well. Yeah, all profits from this pack goes to the Games Aid charities, which is really cool.
Did they just like shuffle up all the games and pick 3 random ones out? And
I think it would have went down to,
hey,
we want to do this thing. What games have you got an excess of stock in, or something like that?
I know. I'm like Tomb Raider, tennis, and what? I mean, it's just so odd.
It's random, yeah.
And then the next one, again, 3 random games. We've got Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Assassin's Creed 2, and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. And I believe this one actually includes the Game of the Year Assassin's Creed 2, even though it doesn't say it.
Ooh.
And that is the only way to actually get the Assassin's Creed Game of the Year edition. It says it on the spine on the case.
So you claim you haven't even opened it, bro.
Yeah. So that's another territory that I'm exploring with the full setting, is like when you get into alternate covers, unique stuff on disc. Sometimes the covers are sort of remain unseen because they're inside of a boxed set or they're inside of a collector's edition, and you'll often see them come up loose if you see them at all. So you're like, where did this come from? But yeah, it's just like, it's kind of a neat thing to collect. Like when you get into the Final Fantasies and stuff like that, there's
like the
quite a few covers that you could only get. What?
So like, elaborate on that. Places like WADA and VGA will actually grade like these games individually, because to them it's still a brand new game, even though it's not part of the pack. So you can find like games that don't have barcodes and stuff graded. And
do they write like an asterisk to say like this came from this?
Yeah, they'll say like this is part of this pack. I queried it with the Capcom collection because I see one sealed. I'm like, it's not complete. But then I spoke to Dan about it and explained, well, it's not complete, but it's still a sealed game. So, we're still going to document it and grade it, which makes sense because it's still a brand new game. I realize I've sold my game, Assassin's Creed 2 Game of the Year edition, because I'm like, I've already got it sealed. I don't need a second one on the shelf. So, yeah, my pickups today. Who would like to go next, Joe?
I can show off some stuff. So I don't know. I'm just picking some random stuff to show up. So I'm going to show off my FMV games collection that I have for PS4. I got a bunch. It's just random, but I was like, I'll never show these, I don't think. So I got Lay Shift.
That's a good
It's
game.
honestly probably one of the better ones to get. It's also one of the more expensive ones. you're into collecting
I love
games.
that E on the front cover.
Dude, it's a really good game.
It is.
A lot of fun. I actually, to its testament, like I played through it like 4 or 5 times. So, and then like a bunch of these I haven't even played at all. Like for instance, I have Nightbook, which I have never played, but looks kind of cool. It says, tricked into reading an ancient book, Laureline summons a demon into her home. Which
It almost looks like
kinda
it's trying to
sounds
be a
Evil Dead.
movie with all the names at the top.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, it seems like a cheesy horror movie. That's what most of these games are. They're more movie experience than games anyway. Corpse Killer. This one's a funny one I had to pick up just because I used to own this game on 32X Sega CD, I believe, and it never worked. It was always broken my entire life. It never goddamn worked. So when it finally came out on PS4, I was like, I have to play this game and have it work, just for the years of me being like, maybe it'll work today, and it didn't work. If you're a kid, like, you know what I mean? You're just like, you have no game. So just to get a game and not have it not work was devastating.
Too bad they ported over the non-working version.
Yeah. Then I have Ground Zero Texas. It's another.
Still with the Sega CD stuff, eh?
Yeah, there's a ton of these ones. I mean, yeah, I might as well get this one out of the way too. And then there's Night Trap as well. So those ones are fun.
FMV.
I love FMV games, dude. They're fun. I like playing them with like my girlfriend and with my friends and stuff, like groups of people.
They're a fun time. With other
Yeah. Because then what I like to do is like I let like somebody play until they screw up, and then they have to give the controller over when they get someone killed or something bad happens. And
you could tell that it was like a phase. It was a like as much a technological like limitation of the time. There's like transition period from between Sega CD and you got those early FMV PS1 games, and then the genre kind of disappeared until PS4 started bringing the stuff back.
Yeah, there became like a lot of nostalgia for it, and then like there's just like a lot of new ones coming out that are pretty good. It's got a resurgence, and like I said, it's a unique experience. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that's what I like about it.
I really enjoy the ones that also have like shooting elements, like Mad Dog McCree or Who Shot Johnny Rock. If you have like an older, old school light gun, makes FMV guns even way more fun. Being able to actually and click and do some kind of
I suck at that game so bad.
Like what was
Doug McCree or whatever?
Yeah, well, just like the modern take on it, right? Like you can just rehash an old classic on better hardware and try to make it a little bit easier, like more playable.
Oh yeah,
but those old games, like they had a certain charm to them. And,
well, the cheese is part of the charm.
The cheese is part of it.
Yeah.
It's like horror movies.
We're lucky with the PS4 bringing back so many different genres that have disappeared. Like walking simulators are a thing again. Point and click games are a thing again. Like shoot 'em ups are a thing again. There's so many genres that.
I was gonna say, like, I think there's a connection between those choose your adventure style games that sort of came out on the PS3, where you've got the games that are cinematic, like the Beyond Two Souls, and like you're choosing your adventure. Those games, that's sort of where it started to come back, right?
Telltale was a big
thing. And it sort of ties into, I don't know if it's just those games becoming viable again, or like people want to play the older games. But
you're taking me back to like Goosebumps books from my childhood, where you pick which page you go to next and things like that.
And so then we get the bunker.
Nice.
Is that one any good?
This one, I like this one. I think it's pretty cool. It's freaky. It's kind of.
So most of these are all limited run games, Joe?
Almost every single one of them. That's the only way you can get these games. They don't get retail releases for the most part. Like literally almost all of them are. This one is as well.
Yeah.
This one's really interesting because it's like you play through the interface. Like you're on a phone, and you're like going through the person's phone, and you call people, and you read text messages, and you use their social media and stuff like that.
Really cool.
It's a good one. So this one's not limited run, one of the only few random ones. It's called the Centennial Case, a Shijima Story. This is a Japanese copy that does have English. It did not get an ESRB release, So if you were like wanting a full set of FMV games, this one will probably be weird and hard to get in the future, just because it didn't get sold anywhere but Play Asia, pretty much. This is probably one of my favorite ones. It's called Erica. It is another limited run one, but this one is really cool because it has some like interactive elements where there like are some things you have to like move something slightly or do something a little bit. It's not like lots of stuff, but it's a little more interactive than most of them. And I just liked the story a lot. That it was creepy. And I will try to go quicker through these. I haven't played this one, so I don't know much about it. It's called I Saw Black Clouds. Yeah, looks cool. That's about all I can say about that. And then I got a shape-shifting detective. This one's I heard is one of the better ones as well. It's
They all have a fantastic art style to them.
oh hell yeah. Yeah, the art style. I like the art covers and everything. Yeah, it's like a film noir. All of them. A lot of them is all murder mystery. Most of them, which I like that. This one I haven't played yet, but it looks freaking dope. It's called The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker.
That was cool.
This one was one of the harder ones for me to track down. I don't know if it like just didn't like a lot of people didn't order it, didn't a lot of buy it or whatever, but this one was like I guess harder to get than the others. I guess it wasn't super expensive, but like I said, I just didn't see it as often. This one's called The Complex. Another one like it's interactive movie sci-fi thriller. And back to Sega CD. I forgot to show this one earlier. This is Double Switch. It's very much like Night Trap. It's kind of terrible, but kind of awesome. And then
Cleopatra on the front.
the best one in the whole collection, the one that me and Figsy are going to play on stream together.
51st dates? Oh, 5 dates? I was
5
waiting
dates.
for that one to come up.
Yeah, man. So we're going to play it co-op and we're going to find true love together. I'm just kidding. That's not really a plan. Unless we get 4 Patreons from this episode, then we'll do it. That's the
Link
deal.
in the description.
So that's all the ones I have for now, and then there are some more. I don't have like a full set. There's some I'm waiting for from limited run still. That'll come, between now and 2036.
Which is a true statement.
That's what I got.
You bring out any items for show and tell for us, AJ?
I sure did. Could you guys give me just one moment, please?
Yeah.
I could take care of something very quickly.
While he's looking around, I have so many ideas floating in my head about what to show.
All right.
I kind of like that legacy idea of like looking at a series over multiple consoles. Like I do have all the limited run stuff. Like I got all the jacks. I got all the Neo Geo stuff. It almost looks like I have a Neo Geo library within my PS4.
Dude, those look so nice. That collection they have. Yeah,
like I don't have to pull any of this stuff down, but you
Pix
can,
and Love stuff too.
you
Yeah,
can
those
see.
look sick, dude.
Yeah. So there it's in focus. Yep. And the jack stuff over there.
Oh, you got the nice editions too. Yeah, those are gorgeous. Did
But yeah,
Jack,
if anybody
did the
in the
racing
chat-
one get a special edition like that or no?
Yep. You
It
did.
did. The racing one did too.
Yeah. So you got Jack 1 through 3, and then you got the racing.
Oh, okay. That's what the fourth one is.
Yeah, if anybody in the chat has any ideas, otherwise I'll just pull something. But it'd be neat to see what people want to look at, because I can pull from each library and sort of do a stack. And
I've just been going through my collection each week, starting at like the letters A. That's why I haven't showed off. I had these classified as numbers games, so that's like literally first off the block,
I got some PS3 box sets that you probably haven't seen. I could grab a few of those just to follow up with what you're doing.
Sure. AJ, did you want to show off your stuff?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Hell yeah.
All right. So the first thing I want to show off is sorry, my apologies. I'm a bit nervous. First thing I want to show off, I guess, is something that means a lot to me as a collector. Actually, 2 things that mean a lot to me because I'm a collector. But the first one is one of the first real retro games I decided, I want to collect this kind of stuff. And
There it
Yeah.
is.
I played retro games all my life, but I never really went, oh, I want to be a collector. I want to start collecting. And this is one of those things that made me do it. And it's the Lunar Complete box set. I got this.
Don't blame
I traded a PS Vita for this thing in like 2015. And that's what made me go, oh, I want to start really getting into this stuff. 2016, somewhere around there.
I could see that happening with how gorgeous of a piece that is. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
But then
was-
you're like, are they all
need
going to
the
look
second
like
one.
this?
Yeah.
No, they're not. Just those
Yeah,
two,
exactly.
and Arc the Lad.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
And
I
the
passed up on Arc the Lad.
Oh no!
Like this dude had it for like $90,
Oh
and
man!
I didn't take it because it was missing some of like the little buttons.
Oh man!
But back then I was such
Yeah.
a snobby jerk. Like it's not complete,
Yeah.
complete 100%.
Right.
I don't want it. And now I'm like, please, you still have it? I'll give you 120. Please.
And then another thing that really meant a lot to music life is slightly before. Actually, it was 2016. That,
Oh
that-
yeah, I already see it.
But-
Let's go.
The Project Diva games. I remember I was a
Love
huge.
those, dude.
This is what got me back into the PS3, and 'cause I actually sold my PS3 to buy a Wii U back in the day.
Wow.
Boo.
And yeah, right. And around the same time as the Lunar, I would say maybe about a month, 2 months separate. I actually bought this at GameStop. It's the whole reason I bought a PS3. I was a huge fan of the Project Diva, the music that Hatsune Miku put out. Well, not just her, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
And I wanted to play this game. And around this time when GameStop was doing their 4 for 20 or 4 for 10 deals, and I was kind of like crazy with it. So it's all thanks to that rhythm game that I got in the PS3.
So I believe wholeheartedly that deep within the soul of every hardcore gamer is a 12-year-old Japanese girl that wants to sing and dance and play Hatsune Miku. And
Serious.
you may not have realized that about yourself, but you play that game,
Yeah,
and after a while, you'll be singing along, being like,
exactly, man.
You're like, oh shit, what the hell happened to me? I used to like death metal. What the hell is happening?
Gotta let loose.
I still have it's
Yeah.
all right. It's all right. This next thing is not anything particularly valuable. It's just that I think it's pretty cool. Going back to talk about the Sega CD,
Hmm.
I've had this for a while. It's
Nice.
Dracula. No, it's not. What's cool about this is not the game itself. It's who made it. I don't know how you guys can see this or not. You'll have to pardon me here. Right there, right where the logo is, right there, you can see it says Sony. And I don't know if anyone knows this or not, but before they made after the PlayStation deal went through with Nintendo, for a couple of years, they were actually making Super Nintendo and Sega CD games before they decided, well, let's go ahead and do our own console. I just think it's a very cool piece from a PlayStation history perspective.
That's actually not a terrible game either.
And then the final thing I wanted to showcase, I actually had to get up out of the chair for this one. I was given this a while back from a local game store. I had to move the chair out of the way as well. It is a store display
That's
for
awesome.
the
dude.
Halo Master Chief Collection.
Very cool, man.
Beauty.
That's
So I
one of my-
love stuff like that. It's unique. You're not gonna.
Oh yeah, they were trying to find a copy to even price chart it for ages, and they had it in there for a pretty high amount. And I kept inquiring about it, eventually after a few months, they said, I just hate the damn thing. So
And
That's
it
how
makes
you do
the
it.
empty corner look so good too.
You
Oh,
follow
yeah,
the same
thank you.
strategy I use with that Turbo Graphics, sir. I
Seriously.
admire your effort.
thank you.
Stop talking about it.
You just keep asking until they're like, "Oh my god, just take it." Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, that's all
I
for
do the
today.
same strategy with women until they're finally like, "Fine, if that's all, just leave me alone."
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if we're walking cliches. Like if you guys have girlfriends or girlfriends that are gamers, or you're joking around about those dating games, and or becoming your inner schoolgirl. But there's something about gaming, right? It brings out some aspects of your personality.
Joy, inner joy, childhood
Right?
Oh,
joy.
yeah.
It's an inescapable. People think, when are you into gaming? I'm like, there's nothing else
It's a pure.
that like takes me back, makes me relax, makes me happy, makes me remind me when I was a kid and I never worry in the world than playing games. Like it's
For real.
nothing,
It's the eternal fountain of youth.
yes, and no other form of entertainment offers that same sort of like forever young feeling because it's all modern and has to do with
Yeah.
modern topics and modern issues and modern and blah 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 blah. And
Progressive agendas.
I'm like, I just want to shoot stuff, dudes. I want to blow stuff up. I don't want this.
It's kind of
But
like
you
the
can relate
reason
it
why.
to someone who likes reading books or likes watching movies or something.
Yeah.
There's no difference to doing that. It's just what you like to do in your time, and that's your time to relax and go into your zone, and that's what we like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Pure unadulterated fun.
Oh yeah.
What you got for us, Lee?
So I grabbed before I show this stuff. If you show my website again, I've updated the pages with the boxed sets. I still have a couple Mexico games to add to that. So on that note, I did collect what I could find that from the lists that I had made years ago. Once I finally sort of got what I thought was sort of common to continental United States and Canada, and I started collecting the variants in Mexico. I got a friend down there, and when he finds stuff, he shows it to me, and I do research, and I find things, and I put them onto the scent or the trail. So I've slowly accumulated a bunch of things that people probably haven't seen. This one's courtesy of Ricky Andre. Okay, so this one actually isn't Latin America. This was a myth for a long time. We had found like a grainy GameFAQs photo or something, and we thought the game was canceled. I think it actually said it was canceled.
I've actually got a photo of that saved on my phone,
Yeah.
so I know the
Yeah, we had. You probably had the same photo, and you're like, "Is this thing real? It doesn't like exist." And we sort of did that MythBusters thing with PS2 over a few years, and like we put all the canceled games away, and everybody got them taken off their lists, and then we're still finding out certain things do exist. So it was quite cool that he found one, and then I'm like, "Oh, I'll never own one." I was trying to get him to come off it, and I'm like, that's uncouth to do that. I'll stop. I'll stop harassing him, and I'll just,
Is it a red case and a gray case?
Yeah, a lot of these bundles you'll notice
Weird.
it's just, and his was the same
Kind
way.
of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah,
cool.
it is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
You think that it's random, but some of the cases are consistent with like the mismatch stuff, and then there's others in the set that I'll get to where it's like it truly was random because you meet other collectors that have the same set and they don't even have the same games in them.
Yeah, like a lot of those 2K
That's
boxes, some of them
hilarious.
are greatest hits, some of them aren't. Like I've got sealed ones, and they're different to what other people have. Like, and they're sealed,
Yeah, it's a little mind-boggling, but it makes sense from them just making money, right?
Yeah.
But it's annoying for collectors. So I'll show these two side by side. So one of them is like a Future Shop exclusive, and this one here. There's three of these like side sleeve. I don't know what to call them. Assassin's Creed bundles. So I have two other ones, but I'll just show this one.
There's so many European ones, man. You guys
so these are like mostly unique to like Best Buy, Future Shop. So we had some of those stores in Canada that used to carry games back then and have special packs, but they don't really do that anymore. These don't come up often. I didn't really know that there was more than one of them. Took a long time to find them. And then Latin America. As far as I can tell, these could be from a Blockbuster store down there because I've discovered a couple of Blockbuster sleeve and slipcover variants. So that's just a guess, but it's kind of neat how it has like the Need for Speed branding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a little less generic
Five
looking
and
than
normal.
some of the Walmart repacked ones.
What games come in that bundle?
So you got the two Need for Speed. You got the
Run
one
and cover.
again, one red label and one black label.
Lee, have you seen the Latin America run where they actually include the Matchbox car?
Yes, I actually have one here, but it doesn't belong to me. I got it sent here. I'm kind of a middleman for a few Canadian people. I don't know how that happened, but people will just bundle their stuff with my stuff to save shipping, and then once I get it, I'll send it to them.
I'm a middleman as well. I understand.
I have a match. Yeah,
I got 60 packages yesterday, and
Bigsy's
like one
a
game
small
was for me.
post office himself. He's got his address saved in more eBays than I think friggin' anyone on this planet.
I don't know how many of these there are in Brazil.
That's cool.
Hey, what's interesting about this one is every single car is different. So I'll grab mine, and it's a different car.
Yeah,
That's cool, man.
that was something I was curious about. I mean, it kind of kills the collectability for me a little bit that they're completely random. Like,
well, I bet Hot Wheels collectors.
I mean,
want
it's
those
neat
things
to
bad,
have something
though.
that like maybe nobody else has, but then where do you draw the line with collecting them?
So I got a
When
green
you have
car.
them all.
Really different.
If they're random, how can you have them all?
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
But then if
I just like to give people
unattainable
unattainable goals, so they have like.
Yeah, no, I
aneurysms.
don't. I don't like unattainable goals. I know I live in my own little world of suspension of disbelief where I think that I might actually complete my sets, but I'm happy to stay in that.
It's possible, but yeah, that's cool. I like the Matchbox car stuff. I loved Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels when I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
So
So
cool.
here is the next one. This is Latin America.
So cool.
It is boxed all the way around, so I can't take them out unless I crack. I think this is sealed. Yeah.
Well, they're not coming out.
I have a second one of these. If anybody wants one, hit me up. I don't know what to say about this one. It looks like a Walmart type. Oh, I'm pointing to the wrong spot where it's got the cheap price that they bundled it at. That's not a sticker. That's on the actual art.
That's cool.
Figsy's probably seen these before.
Yeah, that looks badass.
That is
So this is where things get redundant. So obviously they had extra stock, but if you wanted the whole trilogy, like you would go for this one. But the artwork
It's
is
like the
different.
sleeve itself. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
the artwork is different. Let's see if I could get the backs.
Mexico got some really cool stuff.
Juggling act. Bit of a juggling act here. I haven't done this. I'm getting better at it though as I go. Look at this, guys.
Wow, that thing's massive.
I didn't not even know what to make of this.
I love the spine on this.
Disney and Pixar Fun Box.
Okay.
We got Skyland. No. What is
And
it?
this is only in Mexico, right?
Only in Mexico. I don't know
Cars.
which distributor had. This is still sealed, so
You also have, like,
massive.
like
Does it
not
look-
only have I never seen this before finding it, but this, it makes me think it's the only one of its kind.
Tristan sent me a photo of this, and it was from your collection. So
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. So it's the movies and the games.
Yeah, the movies and the games.
That is
such a
neat.
cool pack.
Yeah. Here.
That's really cool.
Is it easier to read this way? No.
Yeah, there we go.
That is neat.
Very cool, man.
That about does it for now.
Very nice, man.
But that the PS3 box sets. So I'm always, if I find a new one, I add it onto the site.
I had some PS3 news to share with you guys.
Oh,
So shout out to Games Nosh, who's actually discovered a new PS3 variant that myself, Kevin, Ricky, no one was actually aware of. And it's a pretty common title too. So Disney Sing It. There's two versions. One of them has this Camp Rock featuring music from Camp Rock on the front cover. There's a second variant that will have featuring music from Camp Rock as well as Hannah Montana.
Better version.
Can't confirm right now, but Ricky's currently testing to see if they have different track lists. But there's definitely 2 different cover versions,
Yep.
and supposedly one will have different songs on it.
Was Hillary Duff okay with having Hannah Montana on that like that? Like that didn't cause beef? Was that why it was removed from later versions? There's got to be a story here that we need to know. Somebody do a historian video on it or something.
And then looking into that, I showed Ricky, and he dug deeper and found even more Disney Sing It variants out there. So
Interesting.
there's most likely going to be some Disney Sing It variants pop up in the coming weeks. And I got a quick meme for you guys too. So got a job application here. It's cashier wanted, must be 10 years old with 20 years experience, and then you got Ash Ketchum. Yes.
Let's go. Let's go. Who I'm pretty sure you can't hire 10-year-olds. No, I could be wrong. I got some news too from Limited Legacy Games. You guys remember when we were talking about that new company with the new games and everything like that?
Yeah.
So apparently they must have watched our video because they randomly messaged me on Twitter and started asking me if I had faith. And they sent me some memes. And I sent them a picture of Mulder saying, "I want to believe."
I like that.
And they sent me like a little picture of a message from Sony saying their games are in production. So something's coming. I don't know what the hell it is yet, but I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah,
They seem like
That's
cool dudes. Yeah, dude. I like companies that do fun shit. They're making it fun for me. I'll tell you that. If you're gonna message me and fucking send me memes and shit, I'll be like, all right, I'll buy your shit. This is funny.
It's both hilarious on multiple levels. Like we're not even breaking the fourth wall. We know that we're their target audience, and we still we play into it, right?
Of course, dude. We do have the FOMO, and
seriously.
They're like, they make fun of us. Like, they're like, you guys aren't going to open the games. We're like, yeah, you're right. We ain't open that. You're not wrong. It's like
we've hit something on the inside that no one's going to know.
Well, that's the thing. They must be into this. They're into the scene, obviously, too. So they get it. They get it. They get the humor and stuff. Like, I think it's really funny, dude. I like it.
Kudos to them because it's probably another company that aren't selling their shit. And they're like, let's just change our business model and act like a joke and we'll get sales and it works.
That's how you're gonna get my money. If you try to come out and act like you're like some sort of awesome company that's perfect or try to save the world, I'm like, I don't give a shit about you. I want memes.
Before we finish up, I just wanted to ask Lee, because I know you've done a lot more work since you came on. What have you added to the website since you were on last, Lee?
Yeah, so the last time I was there, I had ventured into the PS1 with Jason Dvorak on board, and he was redoing the scans. And that was 3 or 4 months ago, and we were only like at J or K, and we just finished. He just sent me the last batch, which I feverishly inputted the last couple of days. So it was like T to Z.
Nice.
And he'd been working on it for a while. Like for a while, he was just dumping sort of one letter at a time. And I was like, wow, if we can do like 1 or 2 letters a week, that'd be great. And some of the letters had so many games. So I could just imagine him like trying to pace himself to get through it in a week or find the time to do it. But he stayed the course, and like here we are this many months later, and it's finally there. So I have to finish linking up a few of the pages, but it's a nice feeling to actually have like every complete games disc represented. I don't think that's ever been done anywhere before.
Nice, man.
Like I was talking about
in the description, guys, so definitely be sure to go check it out. It's one of the most amazing pieces of North American PlayStation archive, especially on the internet.
Yeah. That was one of the things I thought that made my lists or my pictures like unique, was the fact that I tried to do the research to get every game that had unique stuff on disc, and then sort of have the definitions of why things are on the lists. So it saves people like discovering later that they could have got the Game of the Year edition or that there was another version of the game. Like it's all there. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's the PS.
You'll have fun when you get into the PS4 generation,
right?
Figure out what the hell's on the disc. And what's on that.
Oh man,
There's a
website that does that.
Oh no, that's right. You did say there's somebody already doing that. Good for them.
Really? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's the what's on the disc or something, and they go through every PS4 game, and they say if all the content's on there, if you have to download anything.
That's awesome.
A lot of
Yeah.
them are though, which is nice to know. There
Yeah.
are lots of complete games.
I've never understood why a lot of collectors or say that the PS4 games are just download codes. Loads of this stuff you can play straight off the disc, no internet required.
It's
Yeah.
because there's a few and they're popular ones, so it gets in the head
Yeah.
that I just bought a Call of Duty and I had to download it. All games must be like this, you know.
Yeah,
People aren't
AAA
going
games are
through
like that.
full libraries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like 90%
That's
of
something
my
I've-
games are indie games, and they're on there. There's
Yep.
no patch. Celeste didn't need an update. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Oh yeah.
it's a trend that most of us, like purist collectors, were never really on board with, was having empty cases with download codes.
Yep.
I didn't collect them early on, and then like they got collectible and expensive, and I just thought, okay, I better track those. So like I have the digital stuff, and I have notations so you can see which games have just the digital stuff, like on a voucher, or if it's just didn't come with a disc. So there's separate spot for digital, and then things that appear in the library that have like extra content that sort of has to be on disc. But there's a lot of lists there to look through and sort of decide what you want to collect. So that's really come together as I've been adding everything. Like I was saying, I was doing it simultaneously through the alphabet on the consoles that weren't completed. So like I was identifying where games weren't indexed properly, or like I was talking about earlier, you couldn't get like the whole series together if you didn't know. So then I would create labels and then index them. So I'm happy with how things are coming together now, because it feels like the library is more organized, like as you're looking through the pages. So instead of going like 3 places in the alphabet to find the games that
The
belong
website
together,
looks
they're
a
there.
lot better than it did too, so it's definitely upgrading. And I'd recommend everyone, even if you don't collect full sets, just go and check it out, because it's a really cool resource.
Right.
Hey guys, I think we might call that a night and complete this show. Lee and AJ, thanks so much for coming back on the show.
That was a great
guys.
show,
We'll,
guys.
we'll get you guys back on here and
Yeah.
make you regulars in the future.
Oh, I would love that.
See if
Except
anyone
no
can
more
knock
quizzes
you
for
off
AJ,
the,
guys.
Yeah, see if anyone can beat AJ. If there's any challenges out there, let us know. AJ
Oh,
is
that's a
undefeated.
good idea. I'll get a ringer. I'll get some like just I'll make them study for like 6 weeks.
Be sure to join us this Sunday. We have Luke Likes Games from Australia coming on the show. Luke's got a complete Australian PAL Vita set. There's only a few people in the country who've actually done that. So it'll be really interesting to talk to Luke. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Later, everybody.
Hey guys.
Have a nice one.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collector's Nest. Come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk again, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna run this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance.